What's going on, my people? Welcome back to another YouTube video. So we are officially in full swing of the push-up phase, and I do have a couple of updates for you since we spoke last in terms of nutrition, bodyweight training, etc. But we'll run through all those in a little bit. Right now, I'm just preparing for the gym, but I'm going to try and do a little bit of tidying up before I actually go there, because I'm in the room right now, right? And as I've been doing all these explosive fiber shoots over the last 2-3 years, I've collected quite a lot of clothes. So much clothes that I don't really have that much space for them in my room. I've also got a couple of shirts for the wedding that I have coming up that I'm going home for. So I have to sort through all my shit. And as you can see here, this is the clean washing up here. This is the big box of clothes and shirts that I have. These are all the clean socks and jocks in here.
They're my holiday clothes, they're not yours.
They're your holiday clothes, where?
These ones.
Oh yeah, well they're not mine, obviously, all those bikinis and stuff, even though I would look mint in a bright pink bikini, to be honest. There's Chloe's little office over in the corner. She's working at the moment, and we've got some shit on the bed here, but this is our wardrobe, right? And as you can see here, these are all my t-shirts and shorts and stuff, minus what's in the wash at the bottom, up the top here. And then we've got all Chloe's shit down here. And also, Chloe's shit, mess. What a mess. Absolute bomb site at the moment. I've also, underneath here, got clothes, right? And a full suitcase full of old clothes as well. So yeah, guys, a lot of shit. So I need to sort through it, decide if there's any things I'm going to throw away or give away. And I need to like get that suitcase out, right? Get all my old summer stuff out of the suitcase, put the winter stuff in, probably fill up the other suitcase that I've got within that suitcase with clothes that I'm not really going to wear, and just sort through everything, right? So hopefully I'll have a good bit of time to do that before I go to the gym. But like, if you look over there, right, down over there, you can actually see that like all my tracksuit pants are still out, and I haven't worn tracksuit pants in weeks as it is the summer, right? So I need to kind of put those away, make space for the t-shirts and the shorts and the tank tops that I am actually wearing, and fucking sort this shit out, because room is like a bomb headed. But we're going to try and get through a little bit of that before we go to the gym. I also am going to be training push today with Mark, as Kuba is over in Italy for a pro show. So I have been tagged in to train push with Mark today. I think he's going to record for his YouTube channel as well, which would be good. So keep your eyes peeled on Mark's channel for that one. So I'm excited for that. Always love to train with Mark, always love to train with Kuba as well, anytime I do get the opportunity. I'm normally like just a bit of a loner trainer, like a sole trainer. And to be honest, I don't really enjoy training with people. I don't enjoy training with many people, to be honest. And when I do train with other people, I love to train with people who are just like way ahead of me, like just levels ahead of me, in terms of just like bodybuilding, physique, strength as well, because I like chasing people's tails, right? And unfortunately for Mark today, he's going to be stripping back a couple of plates so that I can press, and it's not going to be the other way around. I wish I was actually training pull or legs with him today, because I feel like with himself and Kuba, maybe like 2 plates or like a plate and a half aside for most pull and leg exercises with them, so I can kind of keep it into him a little bit on pull and legs. But Mark is going to absolutely obliterate me on chest and shoulders today, because he's definitely a lot further ahead of me in terms of strength and muscle mass. So that'll be fun, and that'll be humbling for the ego. So keep your eyes peeled for that one, guys. But I'm going to get cracking with a little bit of this cleaning up. Then I'll go downstairs, eat my pre-workout meal, which I'm going to show you, and then we'll head to the gym. Alright guys, so we're back for the pre-workout meal here. Now we didn't make much headway on the tidying of the clothes upstairs, so we're going to have to finish that later on, which will be a little bit of a chore after training, but it is what it is. So we have got here 125 grams of cereal, mixture of Rice Krispies and Cocoa Pops, which I have been loving. And we also have got 50 grams of whey, which I've left sitting in the fridge for like the last 2 or 3 hours, so it's lovely and cold, which just makes this meal a lot easier to consume. So this is actually meal number 4 of the day. Now normally I would only have 3 meals before I train. However, I normally train at like 12:30, 1 o'clock-ish. Mark told me to meet him at the gym at 1:30. So I'm going to be training with him, and he's going to be recording. So I expect the training session to be a little bit longer than usual, and I'll probably be in the gym maybe till about 4 o'clock today, I would reckon. Whereas normally I'm back at like 3 o'clock-ish, 2:30 to eat my my post-workout meal. So I'm going to have 4 meals before the gym today. Give me that extra little bit of fuel for today's session. And also I just don't want to be eating too close to bed, as that just really disturbs my sleep. So 4 meals before the gym today, and that is why. So whilst I normally have very consistent meal timings day to day, if something kind of pops up like this that kind of slightly alters my schedule, I will just adjust the schedule of the meals as well, as that's been a big thing for me, you know, not eating too close to bedtime. So yeah, that's what we're going to do today. And I'm going to neck this meal into me now, probably go for a couple of steps, as my steps are a little bit on the lower end so far today, as I had a very busy morning with work. So we'll eat this meal, get a couple of digestion test steps in, chill out a little bit, watch a podcast before the gym, and we'll catch up with you for push. So we've just pulled up outside the gym. I've decided just to come here and do a couple of steps on the treadmill instead, get myself in the zone for the session while I'm waiting for Mark. So I have about half an hour until he arrives, maybe like 20 minutes. He'll probably get here a couple of minutes before the session starts, but quick couple of steps, earphones in, zone in, get ready for the session. We have landed, getting mic'd up. Joe is here, Mark is here. I'm mic'd up as well, so like I was saying to Mark, I have to make sure I don't hijack this video, because once I start talking, I don't stop. Yes guys, welcome back. How are we? So it is 2 days after the push session. As you can probably tell, similar to other videos, once I get home from the gym, I just cannot pull out the camera to record unless it's like a full day of eating and I'm like absolutely committed to recording the food. But anyway, I told you I would update you on the body weight, the progression, the diet changes, how training has been, etc. since we've kind of, you know, spoken in the last video. Okay, so we actually upped food again, right? And the reason being was, when I kind of checked in with you last, I was just off the back of the deload. I was heading in to train push, right? And in the 4 or 5 days that we actually upped food, my body weight came down another half a kilo, right? So food was upped, steps was lowered, lipolytics were pulled, and body weight just kept on dropping, right? And I felt like at that stage, after like 10 weeks of dieting, I was starting to get a little bit flat, right? So that push session on that day, which was this day last week, last Friday, I just felt like I could not get a pump, just like so fucking flat in the gym. I didn't like look particularly fat, but I felt really, really flat, right? So I checked in with Coob afterwards, sent him a couple of execution videos. I was like, mate, like I kind of held numbers okay, performance was okay, but my only complaint was the session was that I just could not get a pump, right? So he actually upped food there again on Friday evening, and thank God he did, because my body weight dropped again the next morning, right? So it was down to 98.4, which was 1.5 pounds down from where I actually finished the mini cut that you would have seen in my last video, right, on that physique. So when I went into train pull on that day, even with like, you know, 1 or 2 meals of higher food, I was like ridiculously flat. So that session again was a little bit off, and not only did I feel flat on that day, like I looked flat, I looked shrunken down, and I knew I just needed a little bit of filling out, right? But I just nailed the diet down really kind of well, and over the last couple of days things have kind of picked back up, and I finally filled out again nicely, right? So we had a rest day there on Sunday, and the body weight did actually come up a little bit. I'm actually going to put just a little body weight graph up on the side here. So Sunday the body weight came up to 99.3, and it kind of held there in the mid 95s, low 95s for like 3 days, right? So that was with rest, legs, rest. Now legs was a new session, okay? So I'll run through that in like a later video and what we're kind of doing in terms of legs and structuring the sessions and, you know, weak points, etc. But that it was hard to gauge performance because the session was in a different order. There was a couple of different exercises in there. It felt really, really good, and honestly, it was a bit of a brutal session, right? So I kind of enjoyed training on that day, but then the rest day, the next day, like I felt pretty slammed, right? My energy was like super low, and I felt like I was still dieting pretty much. And with the food being upped again, appetite was still absolutely fucking ravenous, right? So after that, then we did see the body weight come up, and also Monday the 17th we did actually up the test only by 100 milligrams, so not a ridiculous adjustment upwards. But in the last fucking 3 days, guys, my body weight has jumped 2.15 kilos, okay? So it's gone from 98.4 last Saturday to 101.6 you know, this Friday. So in the space of 6 days, that is what, 3.2 kilos of a difference. And to be honest, there's not that much of a difference in body composition. Like, yes, I'm not as sharp, but I think a little bit extra water from the test, a little bit extra water from the food, but I have filled it back out nicely, right? So you would have seen my little rundown of my physique last week, and looking at my back shots, they were very flat, right? And like my shoulders and my most muscular, a little bit flat and stuff. My pictures this morning, I was a lot fuller, right? So initially I was quite alarmed when I seen the body weight come up that much in the last 2-3 days, and I was like, is this the test? It couldn't be. I've normally never seen that much of an increase, but I literally think it's just the fullness being restored, right? So muscles definitely looked a lot fuller today, this morning, right? So I'll actually pop some pictures up here so you guys can kind of take a look. So back has filled out quite a lot. I look like a little bit harder, a little bit kind of more vascular, even in some of those shots. So happy with how things are looking. When we trained push with Mark yesterday, or the day before, it was a little bit of a woeful session, I'll be honest. So again, I didn't feel like I had the most amazing pump. I went in, I took a pre-workout, took a pumpage, and I got a good pump for like the first 2-3 chest exercises. But then towards the end of the session, I really started to flag. Now myself and Mark, as you'll see in his video, we train a little bit differently, right? He tends to take quite long rest periods in between the sets, and Kuba kind of does that as well. I normally train alone, right? So I don't have someone like hopping in with me in between my sets. But even if I did, I'd be going straight away afterwards. Like I normally do a set, and even on like a bigger exercise, like even if it's like a leg press set, I'm normally only waiting like 3 minutes in between sets, right? I'm not waiting for the other person to go and then waiting another 5 minutes. I'm not taking 10 minutes in between sets, whereas the lads kind of train like that. And you know, one thing Mark was saying to me was that maybe you should actually take a little bit more time in between your sets. And granted, at times I should, right? Because I may actually eke out a little bit more progression. But I actually found with push the other day, I was taking me so long in between sets that I felt like I was losing my pump. My muscles were cooling down again. And then I actually wasn't as strong, right? So very kind of funny just to kind of see, you know, how different things work for different people, or people just feel things a little bit differently. And then even towards the end of our pull session yesterday, because I trained with Mark again, when we got the biceps towards the end, I actually like to take a little bit more time in between my sets of biceps because I feel like I'm a little bit stronger and I get a better pump, whereas Mark runs through his very, very quickly, right? So it literally, like, not complete opposite or way, but yeah, just funny to kind of see the differences there, right? So I generally tend to, you know, train a little bit quicker pace. I like to just keep the blood flow moving, keep the pump moving. And I find as well, when I take too long in between my sets, it just kills the session for me. It ruins the momentum. I like to go in, listen to some hard music, get amped up, and just really aggressively like run through the session. Now, I'm not going super quick. I'm still taking my rest periods, letting my heart rate come down. But it's just the way I like to train, right? It's just the way I like to train. So anyway, guys, that's been the change in the body weight and in the physique over the last couple of days. And when Kuba upped the food on Friday, again, I think what we done was we added another 25 oats in the morning, another 25 rice, and another 25 Rice Krispies, right? And then on the rest day, I think it was pretty much the exact same thing, okay? I think it was like just a little bit of extra oats in the morning time, and maybe just like an extra 100 grams of potato. That's all it was. So it was a little bit lighter on the rest day. But calories are sitting at 3782 on my training day and 3105 on my rest day. So even this level of calories for me is still very low, and my appetite is absolutely ravenous at the moment, which I fucking love, because, you know, I was speaking a couple of weeks ago, I was a little bit concerned my appetite wasn't coming back the longer I was dieting. How am I going to push up for this length of time if my appetite is shit? That's what killed my push up the last time. But I'm pretty confident with the position I'm in now that I'll be able to maintain a good level of appetite for a while, especially considering my food is so low. And like I said, where my appetite's at the moment, I feel like I'm still dieting. And these calories for me are actually normally lower than when I start a mini cut, right? And my weight has come up quite a lot the last kind of 2 or 3 days. So I'm actually pretty happy with that response. Like, that is a good thing for me, that I'm actually growing and filling out more on much lower food. My appetite is really high, and I can kind of maintain, hopefully, this lower level of food for a good couple of weeks. And when I do have to push the food a little bit higher, you know, it won't be towards the tail end of the push-up, right? So we have scheduled 22 weeks into the push-up. Depending on where my bloods are at and where my appetite is at towards the end, we may try and eke a little bit of extra out of that. But yeah, look, the goal is just to not focus on the weight, just focus on trying to get as much quality on as possible, right? I don't have any GH in at the moment as well. I haven't done since January. So that is another thing that I am going to implement again very, very soon. Now, I will be traveling back to Ireland for about 2 weeks in July. So just with traveling and storing GH in the fridge and all that, I'll probably just wait until I'm back from Ireland to start that. So I'll probably get that in the next 3 weeks or so. So I'll be about 5-6 weeks into the push-up, and I imagine when I get that back in, I'll probably jump about 1 kilo or 2 as well, and have a lot fuller of a physique, right? So even if I have a slower rate of gain of about 0.5 kilo a week, right, over like the next couple of weeks, I think with where my body weight has jumped up to now, having filled out, plus adding the GH in and that adding a little bit of weight, I do definitely think getting back up to 112 or 13 in even more respectable condition than I was the last time is going to be super achievable. So yeah, guys, that is the update. That was a long one, but hopefully it was as valuable for you guys. Sometimes when I'm sitting here talking to the camera for too long of a period of time, I worry that the videos are going to be too boring, they're not snappy enough, there's not enough going on, there's not as many clips in there. But you know, I do get messages from people from time to time, and they like me going through my thoughts and my process and stuff like that. And when I make these videos, I'm actually only ever trying to give out the information that if I was watching someone else's videos, I'd want to know. Does that make sense? Because I follow a lot of like my favorite bodybuilders and stuff on YouTube, and I follow their preps and this and that, and they always just go through their training sessions or their full days of eating, or they do this or they do that, but they don't really talk about like the in-depth process or how their body responds relative to others, or what really works well for them, etc., etc. So that's just what I kind of try and get across, because some people might relate to some things I say, and some people might be like, oh, I'm actually the complete opposite. I'm a different way around. Like some people might listen to me being like, oh yeah, I love to run through my sessions really quickly. I find that's really good for my pump. And then other people are like, nah, fuck it. I like to take loads of rest periods. And everybody is just different, you know? So yeah, but that's pretty much it, guys. So I'll wrap that clip up there and chat to you in a little bit. So quick little stop and little there to do some shopping. That food that you just seen there will probably last about 4 days, right? That was 60 quid and 16 cent. And that's like every 4 days at the moment. So plenty of chicken, a lot of chicken. I'm gonna tell you that, eating like 900 grams on my training days and like 800 grams on my rest days. So it is pretty pricey. And of course, I do love my fresh fruit, so that's pretty pricey as well. So we got fresh, we got frozen, lots of fruits and potatoes, and yeah, that's kind of like the main bits that I would get like every 4 days. And then every now and again I'll get my jasmine rice. Obviously I have all my supplements as well on top of that. So bodybuilding is an expensive sport, guys. One thing I'm really looking forward to after I finish bodybuilding is actually not having to eat as much food, particularly the protein, as obviously the meat is the most expensive, you know, part. But yeah, get the Lidl Plus app though, guys. Lidl is actually where I've been coming only recently, really, for like all my meat and stuff like that. I got the Lidl Plus app, and honestly, there's some great bargains on there. I am an absolute slut for a bargain. Like, I use the Tesco Club card, I use the little scanner for the Lidl Plus app, and honestly, if I can save, even if it's a couple of cents on a shop, then I will. I'm wicked like that. But gotta be frugal, guys. Gotta be frugal at times, right? So I don't cheap out on like the food that I need for my plan and for my health and the things I like. I spend a lot of money on fucking, like I spend like 40 to 50 pounds a month on fucking kimchi just to put in my meals, right? So if I like something, I will spend the money on it. But where I can save a couple of cents, best believe I will. Right, boys, good morning. It is Saturday morning and it's 7:30. Chloe has made me a tremendous breakfast here.
Some protein pancakes.
Thank you very much, Chloe. Some
welcome.
protein pancakes. I've been upstairs writing my newsletter. A little bit of a controversial topic this weekend, guys. Is being an alcoholic and being overweight the same thing? Is it controversial? Who knows? You're going to have to subscribe to the newsletter and get it if you want to find out. Okay, so we'll show you the pancakes Chloe's made now. They smell and look absolutely tremendous. So I just have to add the whey paste to them now and the nut butter in a second, and then they will be absolutely perfect. Whoa, look at that. Here we have it. These are Chloe's ones over here. So I'm going to add the paste and the nut butter to this now in just a second, and then we will see the finished product. So here we are, boys. Whoa, look at that. We'll get the close-up action. So Chloe, what do we do here to make these?
I'm in the middle of making mine.
Go on.
Wait,
tell the YouTubes.
Wait till I sit down, please.
Right, you ready to rock now?
I am.
Right, so what do we have in these bad boys?
So there's 100 oats.
Yeah.
15 whey. 30 grams of Greek yogurt.
Yeah.
40 mils of egg whites. Trying to pull this all off on top of my head is hard. A tiny bit of baking powder, some pink salt, and some sweetener. That's what's in the pancake.
So that's the recipe for the pancake, boys. And then we've got it topped with 30 grams of whey paste, 150 grams of berries, and 10 grams of almond butter.
We're rolling.
Right, we've got live taste test here now. I need to get a little bit of everything. Get a bit of that almond butter there now as well. Soak it in the old whey paste. Bit of raspberry and a strawberry.
I want a consistency review as well of the pancakes.
Whoa.
They're good, aren't they?
They're way nicer than I anticipated.
Thanks. He thinks I'm the worst chef in the world.
No, I don't. But they're fucking really good. Because you met them before, but not as good as this.
I think I've just perfected it.
They're like proper pancakes now. Right guys, there you go. Try and make them for yourself and see if you can top Chloe. Tag me in your pancakes on Instagram.